We're 9th and 14th for the race today in Cape Town, where there's a 10% chance of rain. I think I've got a pretty good strategy worked out for this one, but we'll have to wait and see. I've said that before, and it's all gone tits up. Hello, welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of Race to the Top. I'm Ian, and in today's episode we've got the Cape Town GP, which is the third race of the Formula 2 season. We didn't have too bad a qualifying, did we, yesterday? We have got a few things that we have to worry about for Joey Mawson, as you can see. In fact, I'll come back to him. For Charles Leclerc up in 9th place, I think what we're going to do is we're going to put him on the soft tyres. Actually, I take that back. We're going to put him on the super soft tyres, and we're going to put him on the race trim. The reason for that is I'm going to start him out on the softs. I'm going to start him out on the super softs. Gosh, I'm getting it all confused. It's going to be really confusing. I'm going to be saying soft a lot in this episode, but we're going to be starting him on the super soft tyres and then going on to the softs later on in the race, where, as you can see, the track's going to be gripping up quite substantially. So that's hopefully going to play into us, and having that race trim is going to be crucial as well. So let's quickly change his tyres whilst I think of it. So we're going to start. What did I say? I said super soft. We're going to start him on, and that's what I've done. Right, because remember in the previous episode I've gone, I can't believe I've stuffed Joey Mawson's strategy up. I put him on the soft tyres, and then I realised that I was talking about Pascal Wehrlein, who's not one of my drivers at all. For Joey Mawson, though, down in 14th place, we're actually going to do the opposite. We're going to start him on the soft tyres and then send him onto the super softs, and hey, maybe even the ultra softs, maybe, if any sort of safety car comes out. That seemed to work really well for Mawson in the previous race, putting him on that harder compound tyre. He degraded through it a lot quicker, but I feel like he's going to be a bit slower anyway. He's right at the back, so we can just sort of see if the race comes to him rather than let's push. That's my theory, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So I will put him on the softs. Now, do we have the car condition drop slightly slower, or do we have the race trim? I don't know. I think we're going to have to go race trim. We're going to have to run a risk with him. He does struggle a little bit maintaining the condition of the parts on the car, but we need that race trim. We need points. You know, if he's down in 14th, he's out of the points anyway. So I sort of figure, well, let's take a gamble with it, rather than worrying about reliability too much. I didn't want to do that with Leclerc with the updated gearbox, because he's most likely going to score us points. Joey Mawson, he's not. Any points he gets is just a bonus as far as I'm concerned. And of course, driver strategy to start, that's unchanged. I don't even know. That should just be default. We shouldn't have to manually do that each race. Flat out to begin with. Let's get into the grid then for today's race. So we've got Rubens Barrichello on pole. I'd love to know how many poles that is. I think that's his third straight, or at least it's his second, and he's leading the championship. He's got Marcus Winkelhock next to him for company. Winkelhock's teammate Pascal Wehrlein sits behind in the second row with Oliver Rowland in fourth. Ralph Bichon for Campos, watch out for him. He's on fifth with Jordan King in sixth place for MP Motorsport. He really improved. Thiago Montero and Alexander Albon seventh and eighth. There's our man Charles Leclerc in ninth with Frank Stippler for company on the fifth row. Behind them you got Hubert and Nicholas Latifi, and then on the seventh row you got Kevin York for Trident. They're really struggling in this race weekend with Joey Mawson next to him, our man. Then you got Larandi and Mauya, who's right down in 16th place. Expect to see him moving through the grid. Then you got Masashita and Giotto in 17th and 18th, and right at the back of the grid you got Mazepin, who still looks like he's nursing an injury, with Jeffrey right at the back for Trident Racing in 20th. If we have a quick look at the tyres, then it does look like behind Joey Mawson, everyone's starting on the softs. They're all going for a very similar strategy. And around Leclerc, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, they're all starting on the super softs, and ahead is all ultra softs. Unsurprisingly, they want to maintain their race position. So let's get into the race then. We will zoom in on Leclerc because he's the one that is going to be giving us any points, if anyone is. And it's lights out here in Cape Town. It wasn't the best of starts for Leclerc. Mawson didn't do too badly. He's moving up on the inside. Leclerc is 3 wide going into that first corner. Look how tight it is. Someone's run really, really wide back there. That's Oliver Rowland who's ran wide. He's on the ultra softs. He's now dead last, 3 seconds behind. But Leclerc is really battling away. He's up into 6th place. Expect to see him drop a little bit. Mawson's moved up to 10th. He's very, very he's doing very, very well at the moment. But Leclerc sitting up in 6th. I'm happy with that. Winkelhock's leading ahead of Barrichello, who managed to fall behind Winkelhock. So Winkelhock did manage to get in front. Bichon's up to 3rd. Verline's dropped to 4th. Remember how much he dropped in the last race, and he's dropped a position already. But Leclerc's still up in 6th. There's someone struggling there. Who was that has fallen well away? Was that King or Stippler? I'm not sure. As Stippler manages to just hold off from Leclerc, and we are in 6th place now, ahead of Montero. Mawson's dropped back down to 12th, but he's still a lot of cars in front of him, and we can start to look at slowly backing off just a little bit. We don't want to back off too much, but we are mindful of these tyre temperatures because they are climbing quite a lot. So Leclerc is out in a bit of clean air now. We're going back into single file, but Mawson's still battling away as he managed to be 3 wide there. Let's quickly cut back to Mawson. He was 3 wide going into that corner, and he was on the inside, and I think he managed to jump a couple of cars. There's still a few cars battling away behind them, and we can just back them off a little bit more, and we will back down the engine modes as well. They're at a laps deficit, and I don't want that to get too great if I can help it, because hey, I've forgotten in the past. So Joey Mawson in 11th place then, and now we can start bumping up the speed. A quick race is a good race in my opinion. Joey Mawson though in 11th place, I'm really, really thrilled with that. He's very, very close to a points position. Leclerc up in 6th place is the exciting one, as Mawson has a quick look at overtaking Albon, but he ends up dropping right back. He had a bit of a stuff up there, and now he's going to have to battle hard with Latifi. Now Mauya, remember, he was the one whose teammate is Barrichello. Barrichello's 2nd, and as you can see, Mauya has dropped right back now. He's down in 20th place. Let's quickly cut to him. What is going on there? He's starting on the harder tyres, but he should be breezing through everyone. I think it's because of all this traffic that's in front of him, which is really, really slowing him down. But Mawson seems to have pulled away a little bit from Latifi, which is great, and we can start to relax a little bit now. Let's quickly cut back to Leclerc, see how he's getting on, because he's under a bit of pressure from Montero. I kind of expect him to fall away. I'm not expecting to hold 6th place, to be honest. I think that's a little bit out of our reach, but as long as Leclerc can stay in the points, I think for Leclerc, 7th or 8th, I'll be really, really happy with that, especially after this race start. As Joey Mawson's battling away there, it looked like he had a look on the inside of Jorg, but then had to back off and then was trying to defend from Latifi, who's in a real big battle with Lorandi. Lorandi's actually just managed to get past him there into that first corner. As you can see, these really long straights with the hard braking zones because of tight turns like this one just here, for instance. That's good overtaking opportunity, so you can expect to see quite a few overtakes. This is another one coming up right here. Look at this, and it's really hard braking. There's been a lot of overtaking manoeuvres there as well, so that's something that we do have to keep an eye on, as we are just needing to back off Leclerc a little bit, because you can see his tyre temperatures are climbing. It's only Mawson actually, so let's back them both off just a touch. So I'm not expecting Leclerc to hold on to 6th place, because he's got Montero, Albon and King behind him on the ultra soft, so they're going to be going a lot quicker, and expect to see them overtake. But as you can see, he's doing very well with his tyre wear, Leclerc. He's very similar to Stippler, Latifi and Huber, who all started on the super softs. So as long as he can sort of keep up with them a little bit, and he's holding off Montero, Albon and King, that can really benefit Mawson, because they must be going for a 2-stopper. I don't think they can do like the ultra softs with the softs. I just don't think that they'll last. I could be wrong, but if they are going to try and do a 1-stopper and go ultra soft, it's just going to really, really put them under pressure right at the end of the race, and it could mean that we might have a bit of a sneaky opportunity at overtaking them. As you can see there, as Leclerc is just about to be overtaken, and he is there by Montero, I'm not too concerned about that. It's not what you want to see, but at the end of the day, they are on much, much quicker tyres, and we are really trying to conserve our fuel a little bit. So 7th place, as I say, I expect to see him drop off. I expect Albon to have a quick look, and maybe even King as well. We've only got to have one bad sort of corner, and suddenly they're right there. In fact, look, you can see them actually closing down a little bit, but it does look like Albon is defending hard, so that's why they've had to back off just a touch there. He was sort of Albon was having a quick look at Leclerc, and then he had to back off, because as you can see, King is right up his tailpipe, so that's why Leclerc's got a little bit of breathing room there, which is quite promising. Let's have a quick cut back to Mawson then, he's in a bit of a clean race at the moment. Not much is happening here. Jorg is a bit off in the distance, but these are the guys, like, I don't want to see Mawson slipping behind Lorandi, because they're all on the same tyres. So that's why it's very important for Mawson to keep 11th place. I kind of expect to see Leclerc fall down, because he's on a completely different strategy to them. to the guys around him rather. But for Mawson to drop down would be a disaster. But who knows? I just don't know what to expect from Mawson race to race. In qualifying he did nothing, did he? He was really, really poor. That first lap he was terrible. He was way off the pace. And now he's doing very, very well. And the same thing happened in the previous race. Maybe he's just not a good qualifier. That might be something that I haven't really thought about. He might just be terrible at qualifying. He can do long stints, but just can't do that one lap pace. Which, I mean, I've been saying the whole time that he's Lewis Hamilton because he's a fashionista and he's this and that. But he's the complete opposite to Lewis Hamilton on the tracks. Lewis Hamilton is a fantastic one-lap driver, and Joey Mawson isn't, by my guesses. So that's what we'll have to keep an eye on. But Leclerc's doing very well still. He's still out in 7th place, and he's got, look at this, he's got nice clean air all around him now, so that we can pump him up a little bit on his tyre temperatures because they are starting to fall a touch. But in 7th place, I'm really happy with that. Look, he's got no one around him. King and Albon, for instance, are not catching up. They're actually dropping off a little bit. Montero is pulling away. I'm not too concerned about that. He's not far enough ahead that he's going to be much of a problem, I don't think. He's going to have to pit soon. We're going to be able to go a few extra laps, and that can really benefit us. I'm really, really interested in Montero, King and Albon to see what tyres they come out. If they come out on Ultra Softs again, they're going to have to do a 2-stopper, and that could benefit us. But I've done a quick calculation. I don't think the 2-stopper is going to work, but I failed maths when I was in high school, so I could be proven wrong, like I've been proven wrong many, many times. Just like with this guy, Joey Mawson, who I just keep thinking he's terrible, we're going to get rid of him, and then he just pulls something out of his ass, and it's amazing. But he is sitting in 11th place, and you can see he's built a bit of a lead there. Lorandi and Hubert were really battling away, and he's built a bit of a lead. They're actually teammates. You can just see the two blue cars of Lorandi and Hubert there. They were sort of battling away with, who was it? It was Latifi, I think, and Latifi's fallen well back, so there must be a problem with him. That we'll have to keep an eye on. Let's have a quick look at Montero, though. He's really, really struggling with his tyres. Barrichello is really struggling more so, and Roland's doing the same thing. He's struggling as well on his Ultra Softs. So they're both going to have to pit soon. It's Montero, there's the confirmation. Montero is pitting now. Barrichello is surely going to be pitting soon, as there goes Barrichello into the pits. So this will be interesting. Watch what Barrichello comes out on. He's coming out on super softs. He's not going to be able to go the whole race on those super softs. There's just no way in a million years is he going to be going all the way on those super softs. So he's going to have to do a 2-stopper. That's going to be really, really interesting to see how he does, because he's come out behind Leclerc, so he's going to have a little bit of traffic. He's going to have to struggle to get past Leclerc, because Leclerc can go another... How many laps have we done? We've done 18 laps so far, and he's not even halfway through his tyres yet. So we've got at least 18 laps, at least, before we can really think about pitting. So if Barrichello doesn't get past Leclerc soon, that's going to be a real disaster for him. The important thing for Barrichello, though, is he did manage to get in front of this group of Jorg, Mawson, Lorandi, and now Matsushita, because they're all on the soft tyres. They're, in theory, going to be going even longer still, but we will have to be... we're not battling with Barrichello, so I don't want to talk too much about him, of course. Bichon, though, for Campos, he's right up there as well. He's one that we're going to have to watch out for. He's only, 3 seconds ahead of Leclerc. That's really, really interesting for us. Because there he is there, and he's got confirmation. That's the confirmation he's going to be diving into the pits at the end of this lap. And look where Leclerc is. And Leclerc has got past Bichon because his tyres are so degraded. This is really coming back to help us. Because Campos were behind in the championship, and Leclerc has managed to overtake him. Mawson's now got in front of him as well. Look where Bichon's going to come out. They just pitted him too late. 1 lap too late, maybe 2, and he's now right down in 18th, and he's got 1,000,001 things to do to get back to where he was. And we're sitting quite pretty now, up in 4th and 8th, as you can see, as Joey Mawson's managed to squeeze past. Who's that he's just got past? That's Jordan King. So, is it MP? Is that their team? That is. MP Motorsport have also made a very similar cataclysmic mistake, and that's really brought us back into the points. Mawson's up to 7th now, Leclerc's up to 4th, and the most important thing, look at the time difference between Leclerc and Bichon. As long as that doesn't come down too much, Leclerc should be able to pit and come out ahead of Bichon. That is really, really crucial. Mazepin as well, for instance, he's Campos, he's improving, he's up to 13th, but he's not even in the points. We could be really picking up a lot of points here. Look at that. We stand to gain 18 points at the moment. I expect to see that change. We're not going to be picking up 18 points. But Campos, they're not picking up any. They're still stuck on 2 points. So that'll be amazing. If we can get another 5, 6, 7 points in this race, suddenly we're in the business. But we should be still focusing a little bit on what's going on. As you can see, Leclerc is starting to be closed down as Verline's now dived into the pits. But Barrichello is stuck behind Leclerc at the moment. He cannot get past him. This is really hindering Barrichello's race. And Stippler is now leading this race ahead of Winkelhock, who is pitted. So this is why Barrichello made the mistake, I think. Winkelhock, who he is battling, has pitted and come out ahead of us, but Barrichello just can't seem to get past Leclerc at the moment, who is up in 3rd place, amazingly. We are going to have to pit at some point, so we expect to see them drop down. But Leclerc's doing very well for pace. Now Mawson is just got the notification that he's defending hard against Pascal Wehrlein, who I got the two mixed up in the previous race. Pascal Wehrlein should be able to blow past him, surely, because he's on ultra soft tyres, the softest compound going, and you know, they're fresh as well, so he should make light work of Mawson, I'll be quite honest with you. But at the moment, it doesn't seem to be happening, does it? This obviously I would have said the overtaking opportunities are great in this race, but it doesn't look like they are. These long straights, I suppose, because of the engine. The engine is a spec engine, so the cars just can't do anything. They cannot catch up. So the only way that they can overtake someone is by braking later, because they might have slightly better brakes. But until they get close, see, like now, you see Verline's getting a bit close. He may be able to get him under braking, but he's not going to be able to get him on raw pace because it's a spec engine, isn't it? So that's really good for us. I think we made the right choice going up to Formula 2. I was sort of a bit hesitant, after the first race, and I saw how poor we were. I thought this might be a mistake. But the fact that basically everything is spec, except for the gearbox and the brakes, it gives us a really good chance to avoid relegation back to Formula 3. That's what I'm hoping will happen anyway, because at the moment we are going to stand up and we're going to be moving up to 5th in the championship. I don't think that's going to happen because we are going to have to pit eventually, but we are still doing very well. We're conserving fuel fantastically well too, and that's really promising for us, because it does mean that later on in the race, particularly if some of these cars are trying to go the whole length, with only a one stopper, or we're going to be stopping again, we need that extra fuel to potentially hold off on any potential overtakes or even make a move ourselves. So sitting 3rd and 6th, Leclerc is actually holding off Barrichello very well. Barrichello has had to back off now. Mawson is doing very well as well. He's got Wehrlein 7/10 behind him, but he's holding off the Sauber of Pascal Wehrlein on much quicker tyres. That really puts us in a great frame of mind, and the beauty of Leclerc being so far up the road is it does mean when he comes out to pit, he's going to be coming in around sort of maybe even just ahead of Mawson, but certainly around 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that. Let's have a quick look. If we were to pit him now, in fact, there you go, I'm way off. So he estimated after the pit stop 5th, so he's going to come out ahead of Mawson. So you're looking at about, what's that, 12 seconds? 12 seconds for the pit stop? Super realistic. But 12 seconds is what we're sort of aiming for then. So as you can see, if we can have him coming out ahead of Mawson, then he's going to have sort of quite clean air, isn't he? And he can really start to pull away from Mawson. Mawson, if you add 12 seconds onto the, let's say 22 seconds, there you go. So let's say 34. So he's going to be coming out down there. Mazepin, Montero, maybe Bichon, maybe. So Leclerc is in a real good, promising position for points here, and that is amazing for me. There hasn't been a safety car yet, and I mean, if a safety car came in now, Leclerc and Mawson, we stand to just gain massively. But Jorg would be the biggest gainer because he's surely going to be diving in. There you go. So Jorg's gone into the pit. So Mawson has gone ahead of him now, and we have got such clean air. Leclerc is doing so well. He's got absolutely nothing to worry about. He has got Barrichello still behind him, but Barrichello started to drop off a little bit. So the fact that Leclerc's up in 3rd place, I was not expecting this. Mawson's moved up to 5th, but he's still fighting bravely from Wehrlein. Wehrlein must be getting really frustrated because he's going to be burning through those Ultrasoft, being so close to the car in front. And if he doesn't get past us soon, we could have compromised Sauber's race as well. I would have sort of said it after that first race of the season, despite Winkelhock crashing out. Wehrlein was so far up the road, I thought, well, this is Sauber's championship, already sewn up. I'm not so sure now. I really, really think that Sauber have got some work to do. Although Winkelhock has just gone first, Leclerc has moved up to second now because Stippler has dived into the pits and gone onto the ultra soft tyres. So we do have to start worrying a little bit now about pitting. And I'm just going to have a look at... So I think if we go... We've got 40 laps to go, and we could put Leclerc onto the super soft. So we could go super soft, and that would really, really help him. And I don't know if we'll be able to do the same with Mawson though, just because I'm a little bit concerned about him. So what we're going to do is let's go full attack mode now for Leclerc, and let's pit him. He gets priority, and we're going to put him onto the softs. How many laps has it been? It's been 34 laps. Maybe we don't. Maybe we go soft tyres, because it's only been 34 laps. He's not going to be able to get to the end, I don't think. So I think we put him on the softs, and it'll only be a one-stopper then. I think that's probably our best option. Let's put him on the soft. Let's be a bit conservative here. We want points. Yes, it'd be amazing to finish higher up, and obviously more points is always better points, but I'm not too sure about risking it. I don't want to have to back him off drastically later on in the race because other cars are going to be catching up to him. But Leclerc is going to be diving into the pits. As you can see, we've gone all out here. And I might even do the same with Mawson after this lap, as it was a great stop from Leclerc. So what we can do now, let's cut to Mawson. He's crossing the line now. So now we'll pit him. And we've got the same thing. He's managed 35 laps on the soft tyres. So we're going to have to put him back onto the softs, and he's going to have to go 3 laps, or let's say 2 laps longer on these tyres. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to manage a little bit. But we're going to go into full attack mode as well. We want him to hold off from Verline. But the fact that Leclerc has come out ahead of Mawson, and he's now going to be able to stay, hopefully, he's going to be able to stay there, because he's quite a way, he's got about 3.5, 3.6, 3.7 seconds ahead of Pascal Verline. So once Mawson dives into the pits, Verline's going to be able to close down Leclerc, but Verline's going to have to pit again. Leclerc, in theory, is not going to have to. As long as Mawson has a good stop, we are in with a real chance. It was another great stop, and he will drop out just in the pits, just in the points in 9th place, and he holds off any sort of potential undercut by the looks of things from, let's say, Montero. He was there before, wasn't he? So maybe, I think it's sort of situation same at the moment, because King and Albon were behind him, and Montero did manage to get in front of him. But of course, King and Montero are going to have to pit again. Albon will too. So Mawson, if we can really, really manage these tyres, we might be able to keep Mawson till the very end as well. But I think Mawson's a bit of a risk. Leclerc, I'm almost certain he's going to get to the end. Mawson, though, I think he may have to pit once more, because I just don't think he's going to be able to manage those tyres until the end. As you can see, because since we've upgraded the forecasting centre, all on me, you can see right to the end of the race now, there's no more rain. There's no rain forecast. That's great stuff. So that means we can just worry about our tyres and worry about our fuel. Basically, that's all we have to worry about. We don't have to worry about do we pit onto the intermediates or anything like that. So Mawson is being chased down by Jordan King. Jordan King should be able to squeeze past him. He's got the inside line, as you can see, and he's just about to say he was holding off, but Mawson's managed to get back in front of him now, and I'm very, very surprised about that, and he holds off 9th place. Jordan King must be absolutely livid, and we're very, very close to fuel parity now, which is amazing stuff, because we've still got a long way to go in this race. We're only at lap 39, as Jordan King managed to get past yet again, but yet again Mawson holds off. What a great ding-dong battle this is. And there's Bichon again. He's going to have to pit. He's pitted again. That's a disaster for them. He went onto the ultra soft, and that's just not worked for him at all. And he's going to dive into the pits. He's well down. That's fantastic news for us, because that's who we're battling. At the end of the day, we're battling Campos Racing. Any extra points that we get, where we, any higher up we finish on the championship, that's amazing stuff. But I'll take... And sorry, Jordan King has just crashed. I have to stop myself there, because Jordan King has crashed. I just saw that. I will show the replay of that one, because that is amazing. There was no safety car though, but that is Jordan King's race done, and that is amazing. I'm glad we didn't get a safety car there, although if we did, we may have been able to back Mawson off, and he probably would have gone to the end of the race, but unfortunately that's not to be. So yeah, I was sort of interrupting myself because all we really care about is Campos Racing. As long as they don't finish in the points, we're happy. We'll take 1 point every single race as long as they don't finish in the points. In fact, we don't even have to finish in the points. As long as they don't, we were already ahead of them. But the fact that we've just seen Bouchon making an absolute hash of it, and his teammate Mazepin's just ahead of him. He's only 2.5 seconds up the road in 17th place. And we stand to gain 16 points the way things are at the moment. I am absolutely thrilled to bits with how we are performing. And look, I'll take 16 points. That's 22 points. It pushes us ahead of Russian Time, Art Grand Prix and Genza Motorsport as well. And that really, really puts us in prime position to survive in Formula 2. And hey, we may even be able to upgrade the factory. Once these sponsors come in, we might be able to spend some money on upgrading the factory. Or do we go for a new gearbox? Who knows? Well, you know, as you've probably noticed if you've been watching this series, I just tend to wing it, you know, and whatever I say in one episode, I'll do the opposite in the next episode, and I'll keep changing my opinion on things. So at the end of the day, who knows what we're going to do? We'll just have to figure it out, won't we? But Verline's now just dived into the pits, and he's going to come out down in 10th place. Now, he will be going to the end of the race, and he's only 5.5 seconds behind Mawson, so you could expect to see Verline potentially making a move over Mawson, but he is many seconds, 30 seconds at least, or 29 seconds behind Leclerc. So Leclerc's 4th place is looking pretty good at the moment, because his closest challenger in terms of tyre degradation, I would say, is Mawson, because Verline is just too far behind. Montero is most likely going to be going into the pits soon, if he's not already, and Jorg is going to be going into the pits before this race is over as well. So this is looking really, really good for a fantastic race. 4th and 7th, I'll be chuffed to bits with that. This will probably be up there as probably one of my best races so far. I mean, let me know in the comments what you think, if you think I've done a better race. Because I think the final race last season was pure luck. I started on the mediums. I thought, well, let's just see how we go and see if a safety car comes out or rain. And the rain happened to fall at precisely the right time. It was just pure fluke, if anything. But this one, I think, you know, we're actually just done the right choice here. Both our guys have been driving very, very well. As we just saw, Barrichello's just come out of the pits, and he's now 4 seconds behind Leclerc, and he's on the slightly faster tyre, the super soft. So whether Leclerc can hold off, we'll have to wait and see. I'll be interested, actually, because Leclerc was holding off Barrichello quite well before, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But as you can see, he's closing down on him quite quickly. Mawson, meanwhile, he's in a lot of behind. He's got no one in front of him. He's many seconds behind Jorg. So 5th place looks out of reach for him. But Lorandi could close him down, potentially, so we will have to keep a little bit of an eye on that. And also our tyre temperatures, because it does look like it's dropped a degree since lap 38, 39, something like that. It's dropped a degree, so it's going to be a little bit harder now to keep these tyres warm. So that's why I'm sort of bumping Leclerc up a little bit, just because I don't want him to start graining too badly, because then obviously people like Barrichello may be able to close him down. But he's already closing down. He's already within 3.1 seconds of him. So watch that one just there. Watch that 3.3. Now it's going up, so you've proven me wrong already. But you can expect to see that dropping away just a little bit. In fact, let's go to Leclerc, because Mawson's in a sort of warning zone. He's not really got much going on. And neither's Leclerc, by the looks of things. Leclerc's got quite an easy race as well, as he's just crossed the start-finish line. He's on lap 50 now, and so there's still 22 laps remaining. And we are on pace for a 3rd and 6th place finish now. I don't know, maybe someone... Was it Verline that had to pit, so that's why Mawson jumped up? I'm not entirely sure. But the way things stand, we now move up to 5th, ahead of Trident Racing as well. We stand to gain 23 points at the moment. I would not expecting this. Stippler is going to have to pit soon as well, and he's... What's that? Leclerc looks like he's closing him down very, very quickly. Look at how slow Stippler is going, as Leclerc is closing him down at a rate of knots. He's within 5 seconds. Stippler's losing 1/3 of a second every second, by the looks of things. Does that even make sense? I'm not sure. There goes Stippler into the pits. Leclerc has just gone past. Leclerc is up into 2nd place now. Now Stippler has come out onto the softs as well. That's their 2-stopper strategy. See, they went ultra soft, and then went onto the soft. The 2-stopper didn't work. My maths worked. My calculator worked. I'm happy. We're up to second place now. Mawson is still a long way behind. He's in 6th place. Lorandi is closing him down just a little bit, but not enough to be too concerned about him, really, I don't think. I think we can be quite safe. But Mawson is now complaining about no brakes, and I can see why. Their reliability on those is very, very poor, and this is where I now have to start getting worried. I was all confident now, but seeing the condition of the brakes on Mawson's cars, because Leclerc's cars, he's good. He'll be able to get to the end of the race. Mawson, however, I'm not so sure about that. I can see a potential failure coming along here. We've got 19 laps to go. That is a bit of a concern. Let's back Leclerc off a little bit, and we will just bump his fuel mode up, and we'll do the same with Mawson as well, just to sort of hold off any potential threat of Lorandi closing in. But they will have to pit again. Berline won't have to pit. But in fact, you know what? I'm not going to. I'm going to save him, because I don't think Berline is going to even close down. Verline, I was worried about Verline when he came out. I thought he's going to close down Mawson the rate of knots, but he's really, really struggling. He's got 7 seconds on him, Mawson. So as long as that doesn't change too drastically, Mawson should be able to hold on to 6th place, even if Verline manages to get past Lorandi. But we do have to be mindful of this this car condition. 29% for the brakes. That's a bit of a concern, because Mawson, you know, I will be so angry if Joey Mawson crashes out, you know, with 4 laps to go or something like that. I mean, Leclerc's 2nd place is amazing, and that shows how wonderful he is as a driver. But, you know, in fact, 18 points. If he gets 2nd, he's got 18 points, which still puts us up really, really high. And every time I come and have a look at this, we move up to 3rd in the championship if this result stays the same, with Leclerc in 2nd place. Barrichello is 2.5 seconds behind Leclerc now, and yeah, so he is closing down a little bit, but not enough, I think, to be too concerned about him. In fact, he's closing down 2 seconds now. He is closing down, so we could see Leclerc dropping down into 3rd place. But Leclerc is 9 seconds ahead of York. That should be enough. Leclerc should be on the podium. As long as this race doesn't change drastically, he should be onto the podium, and I'll be really, really pleased with that. We will just back him off on the fuel mode just a little bit now, because Barrichello is within 1.6 seconds. You can see Barrichello is making a real go of this. He's going to be right behind Leclerc any second now. And Leclerc's going to have a lot of work to do to hold him off, as Joey Mawson's just overtaken York, because York's just dived into the pits. So Mawson moves up to 5th. We stay 3rd. We don't move up any further. As I say, every time I clicked on it, we were moving up, but we're going to be stuck at 3rd now. I would expect York to absolutely fly past Mawson with those fresh soft tyres, and Mawson's on about 50% wear, isn't he? Yeah, exactly 50% wear on the soft tyres, so York should make pretty light work of this. But Barrichello has seemed to have backed off a touch, 2.5 seconds now behind Leclerc. That's really, really good for us. Now, Mawson is starting to get really, really anxious, and so am I, as Thiago Monteiro has just run wide, but we don't need to worry about that. He's down in 12th place. You can see 27% car condition now for his brakes, 29 for his gearbox. This is not looking good. I'm really, really concerned about Mawson, because I really do feel that his car may be failing on him. As we've got Lorandi diving into the pits, and looks like he's having work done, so that's his race over. That's why I don't want to pit, because if you pit to fix your car condition, your race is over. You're not scoring points. That's why I don't want to do it. Quite a few people have dived into the pits now. We remain 4 seconds ahead of York. That's quite good. Lorandi, in fact, there you go. He got lapped by Leclerc. There's Lorandi behind him in 19th place. So we're not racing that blue car there. He's in 19th. And thankfully, he doesn't hold us up, because we can just fly around now. But it does look like, unfortunately, because Lorandi's on fresh ultra soft, so he's probably going to close down Leclerc and unlap himself from us. We are actually closing down quite a lot on Winkelhock as well. We were 10 seconds behind him. Now we're 8.9. So Winkelhock must have backed off just a little bit. And what I might do with Mawson is just back him off, because you can see his tyre temperature's climbing just a little bit. We've got 10 laps to go, 42% wear for both cars, so they should be able to get to the end. I'm quite confident of that. Leclerc may lose out to Barrichello, and Mawson may lose out to York, but we're still doing very, very well. Mazepin, he's going to pick up a point for Campos, so they'll move up to 3 points the way things stand at the moment, but he's going to have to pit soon. You know what? He might be able to go to the end of the race, so they might be able to pick up a point, but Bichon his race is done. He's not going to be doing anything there. So Campos with a point, that's pretty much, I reckon that's a lock, to be honest. I don't think anything's going to come of anyone else. I mean, Giotto's quite close to him. He's within a second, so we're going to have to watch that race that battle rather than the race. We'll have to watch that one. Let's quickly cut over to them whilst I keep an eye on our two cars. These are the ones that we're most worried about. I say, if we can see Giotto get in front of Campos, get in front of that Mazepin car, that'll really help us. As long as the more points Campos don't pick up, the better for us. We've got 8 laps to go now. It does look like we're going to be able to get to the end. So what I might do is I might just bump up Mawson a little bit. He hasn't lost any condition there on his gearbox or his brakes. I got them around the wrong way. His brakes or his gearbox, they've stayed the same. So that's really, really promising. And the fact that where is he? Mawson's up into 5th place. He's still maintaining that nearly a 4-second lead over Jorg. Stippler's pulling well away. He's 21 seconds up the road. And Leclerc is holding off. He's 4 seconds ahead of Barrichello, which is really, really cool. As it doesn't look like Giotto's going to get close, does it, to Mazepin? Which is a real shame, because I would love to see Campos not scoring a point. That would just make my day. But Giotto is, the Russian time driver Giotto, he's not really getting that close. It doesn't look like he's closing down that gap at all, which is a bit of a shame. So, tyre temperatures are looking good. Fuel is looking excellent. In fact, we could probably even burn a bit of fuel. Why not? Let's go for it. Let's just stave off, because Leclerc, I think I am actually amazed at this. I have not been paying attention to that gap to first place. It was 10 seconds before. It's down to 6 seconds. He's starting to pull away a little bit again, 6.1 seconds. But there's a bit of a sniff, isn't there? There's only, what's that, five laps to go. There you go, right on cue. As I say that, it comes up on the screen. 5 laps remaining with 6.6 seconds. We are actually starting to drop off a little bit. I think Winkelhock has actually got stuck behind a little bit of traffic there. That's what slowed him up. The 16th place, Latifi, was holding him up. But as you can see, he's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him as well. But of course, Leclerc's going to go through all this traffic soon as well. So that's probably, why we were shaving all that time off. Because now Winkelhock's into a bit of clean air. You can see that the gap's starting to increase again. So that's unfortunate. That's a real shame. But we've got 4 laps remaining. We are just going to slow them down a little bit again. I'm worried about those engine modes, just because, as you can see, we're at 29%, 27% tyre wear. That, we'll be able to get to the end on that, but I kind of think let's save a little bit of fuel, purely because if the tyres drop off a cliff within the next couple of laps, then we're going to have to fight that final lap to keep Leclerc on the podium and keep Mawson up in 5th, which would be an amazing achievement for him, because I don't think he's ready for Formula 2. I don't think he's a great driver for this level. And the fact that he's up in 5th is fantastic. He's got no cars in front of him. He's many, many, many seconds behind Stippler. Jorg is 3 seconds behind. As long as that gap stays like that, I'll be happy. As you can have a look there, as Barrichello is starting to close in quite quickly on Leclerc. He's down to 2.1 seconds. So he is really going for this. So Leclerc holding on to second is going to be very, very difficult. But Winkelhock has dropped right off. He's stuck behind that traffic. And there's Leclerc right there. There's Winkelhock right there. He managed to get in front of that traffic, but we are right there. We're only 2 seconds behind. But look at Barrichello. He's right behind us as well. So we have got real work to do here. And this is going to be a really fascinating finish for the top 3 finishers, because these cars are going to start holding us up. And they're going to hold Winkelhock up, they're going to hold Barrichello up. And that 18th place car, Mazepin, we've been laughing and mocking Campos, but they could really undo Leclerc's hard work, because unfortunately Leclerc could be stuck behind him. As in saying that, as Mazepin's just unlapped himself from Winkelhock, and we are really, really struggling with our tyres. We're down to 19%, but that's the end of the race. Leclerc with 2nd place. Mawson is about to cross the line. There he goes, 5th place. I was talking so much, I was so intrigued with that battle that I hadn't realised that the laps would dwindle down and we were actually on the final lap. I wasn't even paying attention to that, as we just got a notice there that Latifi had run out of fuel, so he's really, really crawling around. That's unlucky for Dams, because they end up coming right down in 18th place. But Winkelhock wins this race and we come 2nd and 5th. That's got to be the best race in Koiranen's history of me. There you go. That's a terrible way I've worded that, but you know what I'm saying. That was a great great result. I am thrilled with that. That one stopper really, really helped us. And the other cars gambling on the two stopper, Verline for instance, that hurt us big time. Ruben Barrichello, though, he got the pole position, so he gets an extra couple of points. But we claim 2nd and 5th. And look at how good everyone had to do a two-stopper. We made the one-stopper work, and that is why we are 2nd and 5th. There you go. My calculations worked. Maybe I should do that more often in future. Great, great stuff. Campos in the end, 14th and 15th. So Mazepin ended up having to pit. He should have stayed out, and he would have picked up a point, but instead he had to pit once more, and he dropped out of those points. So look, Charles Leclerc, 2nd place, unbelievable. There's no way I would have picked Koiranen to be 2nd in that race. Charles Leclerc's moved up to 7th in the championship. Joey Mawson's moved up to 11th, if you can actually believe that. And there we are, in 3rd place. We're certainly not going to be going to Formula 1 this year because we're many, many points. I've been saying that. I've been saying many, many, many. I've been saying that the whole episode. I don't know why. But we are many, many points behind Racing Engineering and Sauber Motorsport as well. They're going to start pulling away. But the most important thing is we are now 32 points ahead of Campos Racing, who are in that relegation spot. And that is really, really important for this season because there's going to be times... Because the beauty of being 32 points ahead is towards the end of the season we can save our money. We don't have to design new parts to keep up to keep challenging. We can back off on our development. We can just improve our reliability, improve our performance up to a point like we did last season, save our money, go for another good car next year, maybe improve our factory, that sort of thing. And look, there is lots of green pluses all over the place there. And I'm pretty chuffed with that. We don't get as much money this time, unfortunately, because Charles Leclerc ends up doing really, really well. I think he got his bonus, which is a real shame. But the race for Formula 1 was in Russia at the same time, won by Kimi Raikkonen, who is still racing, if you'll believe that. Lewis Hamilton's leading the championship ahead of Valtteri Bottas. So, there you go. Charles Leclerc in 2nd place in Formula 2. Amazing stuff. You got to give me a thumbs up for that, surely. That was one of, if not the best race I've ever done. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know what you think was my best race up to this point. It's surely got to be this one. And if it's not, let me know, and I'll ban you from the channel. Thanks, guys.